Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, honorable judges and fellow debaters. Welcome to the Asian Parliamentary Debate Competition. I am Nira Shifa and I will serve as your moderator for this round. Now present two outstanding benches, the government bench and the opposition bench. On the government bench, we have Dr. Badia as the Prime Minister, Alibay Khoirunisa as the Deputy Prime Minister, and Rizidias Dipari as the government whip. While on the opposition bench, we have Ahmad Hussaini as the leader of the opposition, Khalisa Mini as deputy leader of opposition, and Nadia Amal Husna as the opposition whip. Now also present the panel of adjudicators for this round, Zara Aulia Mazid, Marcel Johan Maurice Nanai, and Ansela Kifa. Before we begin, let me briefly explain the format of today's debate. This debate will follow the Asian parliamentary format, which consists of two benches, the government bench, which will support the motion, and the opposition bench, which will oppose it. Each bench is composed of 3 speakers, and each speaker has 7 minutes to deliver their speech. In this debate, point of information or POIs may be offered between the first and 4th minutes of the speech. However, POIs are not allowed during the whip or replay speeches. The motion for this round is this House supports banning child influencers on social media platforms in Indonesia. In this debate, child influencers refers to minors under the age of 17 who actively create content and receive monetary or promotional compensation through social media platforms. Banning means the legal prohibition of such activities to protect children's well-being, development, and privacy. Without further ado, let us now begin the round. Now I invite the Prime Minister to deliver the speech. You have 7 minutes and your time starts when you begin.
Thank you, moderator. Good morning to the honorable adjudicator, the opposition team, and all attendees. Today, as a proposition, we from the government side and I, as the Prime Minister, firmly assert that child influencers should be banned because their involvement in social media poses serious, irreversible risks in their mental, emotional, and even physical health. First and foremost, we argue that children should not be content creators on social media because these platforms were never designed to safeguard psychological health. Social media thrives on engagement, often at the expense of privacy, authenticity, and emotional stability. When children are pushed or even willingly choose to become influencers, they are thrust into an environment of relentless scrutiny, stress, and potential exploitation. Why is this dangerous? Because children lack emotional maturity and cognitive development to handle the immense pressures from being public figures. Imagine a 10-year-old forced to maintain a curated online persona, facing harsh criticism from strangers, working long hours to produce content, and internalizing the idea that their world is tied to likes and views. This is not childhood. It's a high-stress job this guy is playing. Moreover, early phase disrupts natural identity formation. Childhood is a critical period for self-discovery, where kids should explore interests without the pressure of monetization or public judgment. Yet, when a child's confidence depends on viral trends and audience comments or shifting algorithms, studies in developmental psychology confirm that excessive exposure to public validation leads to anxiety, depression, and a warped self-image. The evidence is overwhelming. A 2022 study by the American Psychological Association found that children who regularly engage as content creators report stress and anxiety levels twice as high as their peers. Another report from the University of Michigan revealed that young influencers often struggle with sleep deprivation, burnout, and even eating disorders due to the pressure of maintaining an ideal image. Real-world cases such as Lil Tay and Danielle Khan, children exploited by parents and management teams for profit demonstrate the devastating consequences of emotional breakdowns, fracture from their relationships, and stolen confidence. The harm doesn't even stop there. Many child influencers are also vulnerable to financial exploitation. Unlike child actors who are protected by labor laws and trust funds, social media kids have no legal standards. Earnings are frequently controlled by parents, leaving the children with no financial security once their online relevance fades. Some may argue that banning child influencers infringes on parents' right to creative freedom, but this ignores a fundamental truth. Children cannot meaningfully consent to the risk of influential culture. Just as we prohibit child labor and mandate education, society must prioritize the well-being over entertainment or profit. In conclusion, if we truly care about the next generation's future, the only ethical choice is to ban child influencers. They deserve protection, not exploitation. We urge the judges and opposition to recognize the child's right to a safe, healthy childhood must always come before social media fame. Thank you.
Alright, thank you to the Prime Minister. Now I invite the leader of the opposition to deliver the speech. You have 7 minutes and your time starts when you begin speaking.
Thank you, Moderator. Good morning, the adjudicator, and the for the government team, and everyone who is present today. The government has painted the dark picture of what it means to be child influence. The stress, exploitation, emotional breakdowns, and stolen children. While we appreciate the concern, we must also recognize that their solution is banning all child influence. It's not only for too extreme, also ignores the wider context of the digital age we live today. We, the opposition team, believe that children can participate in the content creation safely and meaningfully, as long as it's done with the right support system. And take a ban strengths on the cases at the harmful, even when the many are actually a positive side, healthy and improved. The government claims that the social media puts the children under pressure, that they can handle them, or that their identity being shaped by likes and comments. But we need to ask, is that always the case? The truth, many of the kids making the videos, like the tell, like the speech, telling their story, singing, draw, or review their favorite books and games. And the many do this not because they're being forced, but because it's fun for them. Children have always loved performing on the stage, on school, and at home. Today, the studies has happened in digital, saying that our children influence our victims in an unfair generation. We also have to remind that only having children and working full-time or under healthy pressure. Many of them are simply recording short, creative video after school, graded by parents who care. And in that process, they are learning to how to communicate, express themselves, and manage their time. There are thousands of the other child characters who live are not falling apart. In fact, many of them are grow up more confident in the media literature than even before. Should we really punish the majority because of the few best examples? Let's also not ignore the benefit. According to the Pew Research Center report in the 2021, over the 60% of teens say the creating online creator helped them express themselves and the content with the others who share their interests. This is huge. This show that content creator, when done with the right way, isn't just safe but also feel. It's given the child a sense of voice, communication of voice of the community, and even purpose. That's what the mention of this will ban the child influence, not regulate or not monitor, but ban. That means we tell that every children in Indonesia not all to share your creativity, even your parents support you, even you are loved to doing it, even it help you to grow. That's not protection. We understand the risk. We agree that children need the board and the support, but banning them for the digital world is like a locking on the door and then teaching them how to walk safely. We must give the children space to grow, not just a rule, because the answer is not a fee. It's trust, education, and yes, responsibility. Thank you.
Alright, thank you to the leader of the opposition. Now I invite the Deputy Prime Minister to deliver the speech. You have 7 minutes and your time starts when you begin speaking.
Okay, thank you, Moderator. So, as the Deputy Prime Minister, I'm here to strengthen the government's stance. Our Prime Ministry has already outlined the child influencer risk to their well-being. To reinforce the government's position, I will now address deeper implication behind this motion. While many see child influencer as simply a part of modern life, there's a deeper issue we need to think about: how this environment affects the way child grow and develop in general. The influencer lifestyle disrupts the natural developmental process of children, including their education, social skills, and sense of identity. Children need time and space to explore the world with real-life relationship and develop skills through play and learning. But when they are turned into online content creators, much of their time is directed toward filming, editing, and maintaining a public image. These can take away from their schooling, their ability to form genuine peer relationship, and their opportunity to engage in real-world learning experiences that are essential for their growth. According to Journal of Youth Studies, children who are highly involved in digital content creation often show delays in academic focus and struggle to build offline social connection, especially when their daily schedule revolves around content production. In Indonesia, child psychologist Irma Kusdiana Andiani emphasized in 2022 interview that children who spend too much time in performance-based environments may miss critical stages of development, including emotional regulation and decision-making skills. This demonstrates that involving children in influencer culture interferes with their natural growth and overdevelopment. To ensure that children in Indonesia can mature in a supportive, balanced, and age-appropriate environment, it's necessary to prohibit their participation as influencers on social media platforms. Beyond this issue of development, we must also address another critical concern children's right to privacy in digital age. Turning children into influencers compromises their fundamental right to privacy. And unlike adults, children cannot fully comprehend the long-term impact of having their lives broadcast online. When children become influencers, moments that should remain private, such as family interaction, emotional experience, or even daily routines, are frequently exposed for public consumption. These posts are often made without the child's informed consent, and the consequences may persist into adulthood. According to UNICEF, children are entitled to digital privacy, and premature online exposure can harm their dignity, personal security, and psychosocial development. Additionally, a report by The Guardian revealed that many child influencers have experienced embarrassment and online harassment later in life due to personal content shared when they were younger. This growing threat to children's digital privacy highlights the urgent need for stronger protection, allowing them to be turned into online content without proper regulation, not only violates their rights but also puts their long-term well-being at risk. Therefore, this House firmly supports the child influencers. No, thank you. This disruption of child's healthy and development and the violation of their rights to privacy make the influencer industry an unsafe and unsuitable environment for minors. This is not merely a matter of child entertainment. It is a matter of children's long-term well-being and well-being. Yes, please.
Thank you. It is argued that banning is necessary to protect children's development and privacy. But isn't it possible to achieve the same protection through strong regulation without removing all the developmental benefits that online content creation can provide? Can you answer? Thank you.
Okay. So regarding your point of information, well, regulation may sound ideal in theory. In practice, it is not enough to address the deeper harm because of influencer culture on children. The so-called benefit of content creation come at the cost of crucial developmental needs like real social interaction, emotional growth, and academic focus, which are often sacrificed to maintain an online presence. The same 2002-2023 ministry report you cited also warns that without strict enforcement, digital mentorship programs remain inaccessible to most families in Indonesia. More importantly, no regulation can guarantee that a child fully understands or consents to having their life publicly documented. This is exactly what MISA is protecting, not just development but the right to a private, age-appropriate childhood. That's why banning is the necessary safeguard, not a punishment but a protection. Thank you.
Alright, thank you to the Deputy Prime Minister. Now we invite the Deputy Leader of the Opposition to deliver the speech. You will have 7 minutes and your time starts when you begin speaking.
Okay, thank you for mentioning me. Okay. However, regulation in our decree to protect children, and that banning all child influencers is the only way to secure their development and privacy. Okay, any child involved in content creation is automatically at risk academically, emotionally, and socially. You suggest that no child can give meaningful consent to digital participation. But should we also ban children from acting in films, like joining singing competition or participating in reality TV? In all these cases, the solution has never been to prohibit. It has been to regulate through age limit, work hours restriction, and parental accountability. Why then do we treat child influencers as an expectation? Okay, child influencing, when properly guided and supported, can actually contribute to a child's holistic development, not harm it. This is not a mere opinion, it is based on observable documentation outcomes. Content creation promotes essential and 21 central skills like communications, digital literacy, and time management, and collaboration, and even entrepreneurship. These are not fringe skills, they are at the heart of digital economy. Okay. When children create content, especially educational, hobby-based, and storytelling content, they engage in a process that involves planning, scripting, editing, evaluating feedback, and learning to present themselves in a structured and confident way. A 2021 report from Common Sense Media found that children engaged in structured content creations show higher levels of confidence, independence, and in initiative compared to peers who only consume media. Even in Indonesia, some young creators are working with educators to produce academic content, promote environmental awareness, and share cultural tradition. Banning these children from participating remove not only their creative outlet, but also their chance to grow through meaningful digital engagement. It is not only overreaching, it is also counterproductive. It is not that is harmful, it is how the tool is used. And instead, what is needed is clear regulation, enforceable, working hour limits, parental responsibility clauses, and mandatory earnings protection and content suitability guidelines. In fact, several countries, including France and South Korea, have already started implementing legal protection for child influencers rather than eliminating their platforms altogether. Okay, the influencer space should not be viewed as a threat to the children's development, but rather than as an opportunity for it when properly handled. And we should invest in digital education, establish legal protection, and foster a balanced environment that allows children to grow not in isolation, but from the digital world, but within it safely and meaningfully, not by silencing, but by empowering them with the right tools and protection. Thank you.
Alright, thank you to the leader of the board. To the deputy leader of the opposition, now I invite the government whip to deliver the speech. You have 7 minutes and your time begins when you start speaking.
Thank you, moderator. Good morning to honorable educator, the opposition team, and everyone present here today. As the government wins, I will respond to key argument brought by the opposition, reboot our case, and ultimately prove to you why the government side has clearly won today's debate. The opposition team has presented has presented an optimistic but ultimately unrealistic view of the influencer industry, especially where the children are involved. Let's take a closer look. First, they claim that some children influencers are happy and benefit from this industry. That may be true in isolated cases, but anecdotal happiness does not justify a broken system. Just because a child that enjoys being influencer, being online, doesn't mean it's ethically accessible to expose them to the millions. What matters isn't just how they feel now, but the long-term risk we are exposing them to without informed consent. Happiness does not mean protection, and children need protection. Happiness doesn't mean protection, and children need protection, not contracts. Second, they argue with the parental guidance and regulation. This practice can be safe. But who enforces this regulation? Who monitors what film at home or checks whether the income is used ethically? In most countries, including ours, there is no child influencer labor commission, no audit, and no protection from exploitation. Even in countries like France, where partial law exists, the enforcement is weak. We don't have the infrastructure or political will to regulate every Instagram or TikTok post. So regulation is not solution. Is it a false hope? Third, they say influencing builds confidence and digital skills. But confidence can be built through social projects, theater, and peer collaboration, not through exposure to a toxic, algorithm-driven, and attention economy. Being a child influencer often leads to performance pressure, identify confusion, and reliance on likes and views, and that is not confidence. That dependency. And finally, they say banning is too extreme, right? And limits opportunities. But banning is not oppression, it is a protection. We ban child labor, underage drinking and driving, not to limit freedom, but to ensure safety. This is a temporary restriction for a permanent protection. So let's return to what government has argued. First, we explain that children cannot give meaningful content to influencing. They don't understand privacy and monetization or the permanence of the internet. They are unable to weigh risk or managing consequences. And second, we talk about the mental health. Psychological studies from the American Psychological Association show that young influencers often suffer anxiety, self-esteem issues, and digital burnout. And this is not speculation, this is a science. And third, we reveal how the influencer industry can be a form of financial and labor exploitation. Often, parents manage the accounts, sign the deals, and use the income. Some children end up with nothing, and there is no safety net, no legal requirement to save earning for the child, and no protection from burnout. And this is invisible, a labor that blurs the line between home and work. We believe that allowing children to grow up with being monetized is not oppression, but it's the respect. And this debate boils down to one question. Should we allow children to be shared by algorithm and monetized for adult profit? Or should we let them grow safely and freely and choosing for themselves what they are capable? The opposition argue for the freedom, but what they promote is exposure. We argue for protection because childhood should not be for sale. We are not against creativity or technology, but we are against exploitation disguised as opportunity. Therefore, this house will ban the child influencer. Thank you.
Thanks to the government whip. Now I invite the opposition whip to deliver the speech. You have 7 minutes and your time starts when you begin.
Thank you, Moderator. Good day to the honorable educators, the government side, and everyone here. Today, I stand as the opposition whip to firmly reform our stance that this House should not ban child influencers. Throughout this debate, we have acknowledged the concern presented by the government batch, but we have also shown why a total ban is not only unnecessary, it is also counterproductive and harmful to children growth in the digital age. We assert that child influencer should not be banned because content creation, when done responsibly, can support children's development, creativity, and digital awareness, while protection can be achieved through smart regulation, not prohibition. The government has consistently portrayed child influencers as victims of an inherently exploitative system, but this generation ignores the diversity of experience, the role of supportive family, and the agency of children who genuinely enjoy and benefit from creating content. Children today are digital native. They're growing up in a world where digital communication, creativity, and self-expression are not just optional, they're essential. Banning them from participating entirely is not protection, it's disconnection. Moreover, banning all child influencers assume that the presence of risk equals inevitable harm. But in every field involving minors acting, modeling, support, we don't eliminate participation, we regulate it. Why should influencer culture be treated as an exception? Let me show you the evidence to support our arguments. The first one is positive and creative impact. As many as 80% of teenagers say social media help them stay connected, and 71% feel it gives them a space to express creativity. 90% of teens say social media has positive impact on their emotional being, including improved self-confidence according to Common Sense Media. And second one, digital experience build essential skills. A 2007 Pew report found that 64% of teens engage in content creation such as blogging, video, or other creative projects. These activities do not reduce offline involvement. In fact, teen content creators are often active in school clubs and part-time jobs. And the third, there is a foundation of regulation and digital education. Platforms like YouTube Kids have already implemented parental controls and screen time limits. Digital literacy education is expanding. For example, the digital password program by Common Sense Media has been integrated into school curricula. So, what's the real issue here? It's not the content creation is harmful. It's that unregulated content creation can be harmful. And that's where the government's proposal is failed. Instead of offering safeguards, they offer a shutdown. Instead of building digital resilience, they promote fear. And most importantly, they take away the voices of children who are ready to grow, learn, and create. If we care about children well-being, we must protect their rights and their opportunities. A ban doesn't matter. That is why motion must fall. Thank you.
Alright, thank you to the opposition leader. Now I will give 3 minutes to each bench for their reply speaker to deliver their reply speech. These speeches are exclusively for summarizing the debate and presenting reason why your bench should win. No new arguments may be introduced and POIs are not permitted. The reply speaker will start from the opposition bench, so for the reply speaker from the opposition bench, the floor is yours.
Throughout the debate, the government has proposed to the ban of the on-child influence. Child risk exploitation, developmental harm, and protection of privacy. While they are concerned that they are failing. Their approach is fundamentally flawed because it organizes an overall practical solution like regulation and education. We, on the opposition, which have to consciously provide the balance of perspective. We acknowledge the potential risk, but argue that this is not the work of blanket ban. Instead, we advocate for a safeguards regulation and the digital literacy program. This ensures the protection without selling creativity or opportunity for fraud. The government argument rests on the extreme cases of the harm and nature, but that are not the norm. We have to show that we have under the proper supervision. Content creation can positively impact the children by fostering the confident communication skill and digital literacy. The digital world is an integral part of the today's society, and the children deserve tools and support negative publicity. Moreover, a ban ignored the diversity of the experiences among the child influence. Not every child faces exploitation, and many of them joy and development from their content creation journey. A ban will knock the taste of the opportunity and ban the rest of the message that children cannot be trusted to explore their creativity. Even under a response consequence. In conclusion, our solution to enforce children to safely participate in the digital space, balancing protection with the opportunity. We urge the panel of the reject the motion and uphold our values. Progressive approach. Thank you.
Alright, thank you. Now I call on the government's reply speakers to deliver the reply speeches. The floor is yours.
Thank you, moderator. Honorable educators, today's debate centers on one irreplaceable priority, protecting children's fundamental rights against an industry designed to exploit them. The opposition argues regulating can balance risks and benefits, but it's proven that this is a false compromise. Children cannot consent in monetized exposure. Their privacy is violated daily in family moments, vulnerabilities, and identities commodified for profit. No parental oversight or screen time limit undoes this. The opposition cites skills and creativity as justification, but child development isn't transactional. The play is not the labor. Studies show influencer children suffer anxiety at twice the rate of peers. Their education, social growth, and mental health grow under algorithmic pressure, harms no digital mentorship can repair. Regulation, it's a mirage. France laws remain unenforced. Indonesia lacks infrastructure to monitor 10,000 private homes, when earnings, both parents, and content lives forever online. Exploitation is systemic, not exceptional. The opposition claims a ban silences children nonsense. We silence exploiters, not creativity. Children can sing, learn, and create offline free from monetization, public screening, and burnout. This isn't about fear, it's about ethics. We ban child labor not because all factors are abusive, but because child itself is sacred. Similarly, we must ban threatening minor immigrants. The opposition offered no solution to this threat. These regulations gamble with children's lives, many hands together. Protect child, uphold dignity, support the ban. Thank you.
Alright, thank you to all speakers for your speeches. Now I will give time for our adjudicators to assess and decide which bench will be the winner of today's debate competition. Alright, now let's hear the feedback from our adjudicators, starting from Zahra Lewis.
Okay, thank you, moderator. So the feedback from me is, I think, it's a great debate for both teams. And for the government, your arguments about the risk of child influencers were clear and supported by strong data. However, explaining how banning will work in practice will make your case more robust. And for opposition, your focus on regulation was practical, but your responses to the government evidence on psychological risk could be more stronger. So I think that's it from me. Continue to the next speaker.
Okay, thank you very much, Sejarah. For me, for the government team, your focus on protecting children must very strong and important. You guys clearly saw why safety matters. However, you could improve your arguments by explaining more about how regulated participation can actually benefit children and others involved. Also, try to address some possible challenge or criticism of your approach to make your argument even stronger. Okay, the next for the opposition team, I see your idea of finding a balanced solution was convincing and showed good understanding of the issue. You highlight the need for fairness well, but I see you miss pointing out some problems with the regulation that the government team mentioned. For example, overrealistic rules might make kids miss out an opportunity to grow or even make the rules hard to understand. So these points will make your argument more complete. So that's all for me. And the next, that's your.
Okay, feedback for me is for performance. Performance is adding example of successful events also would strengthen your argument. From opposition, you see real life example of well-regulated child influencers would make us more relatable. Both teams should keep refining their points with specific and relatable examples. That's all for me.
Alright, thank you for your insight. Now it's time for me to finally announce the result. The winner of today's debate competition is... Congratulations to the government team! Alright, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed the journey as much as I did. And for the very last time, thank you for tuning in and goodbye.